Script title: How the food you eat affects your brain. Script: Up to 20% of the energy your body burns every single day is consumed by a 3-pound organ that never sleeps: your brain. That means that everything you put on your fork is essentially the fuel for the most complex computer in the known universe. And right now, you might be running it on Glitchy software. I'm going to break down how your lunch is literally rewiring your focus and mood. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to stop the afternoon fog that ruins your productivity. If you click away now, you're going to keep guessing why you feel drained every single day. But stick around, because the secret to fixing your brain might be sitting in your pantry right now. Why do we act like our brains are separate from our bodies? We spend hours at the gym focusing on our abs or our bicep gains, but we completely ignore the fact that the food we eat is the only thing our brain has to work with. If you put low-grade fuel in a high-performance car, you don't get a high-performance drive. Your brain is no different. It's a physical organ, just like your heart or your lungs, and it is constantly reacting to the chemical signals you send it through your stomach. There is a literal superhighway called the vagus nerve that connects your intestines directly to your brain. Think of it like a high-speed fiber optic cable constantly transmitting data between your gut and your head. Your brain is incredibly energy hungry. It needs a steady, reliable stream of glucose and specific nutrients to function at a high level. When you eat processed food that triggers massive inflammation, you aren't just getting a stomachache. You're literally causing a physical, inflammatory fire inside your head. That brain fog people talk about? That's not just a feeling. That's your brain's way of saying it's under fire. Let's talk about the glucose roller coaster. Imagine you're trying to run the most expensive, high-end smartphone on a cheap fraying power cord that keeps losing connection. That's what happens when you grab a sugary donut or a processed snack. Your blood sugar spikes, you get a quick burst of energy, and then crash. Your blood sugar plummets, and your brain suddenly loses its steady power supply. The crazy part? Your brain has absolutely no way to store backup fuel. It lives minute to minute. When that power dips, your executive function, the part of you that makes decisions, stays focused, and manages your emotions, literally loses control. You become irritable, you can't concentrate, and you start craving more sugar just to stop the shaking. It's a vicious cycle. Speaking of cycles, what's your go-to snack when that afternoon slump hits? Is it a candy bar, a bag of chips, or maybe a sugary coffee? Drop a comment below and let us know what usually ruins your focus after lunch. Seeing what everyone else is dealing with makes a huge difference, because we're all fighting the same chemical battle. Now, hold on, because this next part is where it gets really weird. You aren't just eating for yourself. You're eating for a massive living ecosystem. There are 100 trillion bacteria living in your gut, and they are like the IT department for your mood. Scientists have found that roughly 90% of your body's serotonin, that's the neurotransmitter that makes you feel happy and calm, is actually produced in your gut, not your brain. If you aren't feeding those little guys the fiber and nutrients they need, they stop sending the feel-good signals to your head. You might think you're just having a bad day, but you could actually be starving your internal IT department, and they're letting you know it by making you feel anxious or down. You aren't just a person. You're a massive symbiotic community. And if the community is hungry, the CEO, your brain, is going to suffer. Think about how wild that is. Your gut bacteria can literally manipulate your cravings to get the food they want. If you keep feeding them processed junk, they change your gut environment to favor the bacteria that thrive on that trash. You're not just making a choice at the grocery store, you're literally choosing which version of your own personality gets to thrive. You want to be a focused, energetic person? You have to feed the bacteria that support that. It's not just about willpower, it's about biology. But wait, the craziest part is still ahead. We need to talk about inflammation, which is basically the brain's worst enemy. Most of the processed oils found in fast food and boxed snacks are packed with omega-6 fatty acids. When you eat too many of these and not enough omega-3s, you're essentially coating your brain in mental rust. Think of your neurons like electrical wires. Your body needs healthy fats to keep the coating on those wires smooth and fast. When you eat inflammatory processed oils, that coating gets brittle and slow. The signals between your neurons start to lag. That's why you feel slow, forgetful, and mentally sluggish after a greasy meal. It's physical rust, and it's happening in real time. Does this make you want to rethink your entire grocery list? If this is blowing your mind, hit that like button and subscribe so we can keep bringing you the science behind how your body actually works. We've got so much more to cover on how to hack your own biology. Now, let's look at the construction side of things. Your brain is constantly rebuilding itself. This is called neuroplasticity. Every day, your brain creates new connections and prunes away old ones. To do this, it needs specific materials. Think of your brain as a house. If you want to add a new room, you need high-quality lumber and steel. In the brain, those materials are flavonoids, B vitamins, and healthy fats. If you're only giving your brain cardboard and tape, like low-nutrient, high-calorie processed food, that house is going to be weak, drafty, and prone to breaking down. You can't build a high-performance mind out of low-performance materials. When you give your brain the right building blocks, you're literally constructing a faster, more resilient version of yourself. You might be thinking, is this really that big of a deal? Well, let's look at the SMILES trial from 2017. Researchers took a group of people struggling with depression and did something simple. They didn't just tell them to talk to a therapist, they had them switch to a Mediterranean-style diet. They focused on whole foods, healthy fats, and lots of vegetables. The results were shocking. A significant number of the participants saw their symptoms of depression drop drastically. They weren't just eating better. They were literally feeding their brain the chemicals it needed to repair the systems that regulate mood. It wasn't magic. It was chemistry. Then there's the sugar paradox. Researchers have studied this in rats, and the results are pretty scary. When these rats were fed high-sugar diets, their spatial memory, the ability to remember where things are and how to navigate, actually started to fail. They were slower to learn, and they struggled to remember things they had known just days before. When the researchers looked at their brains, they found physical changes in the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory. If this happens in rats, what do you think is happening to us after years of high-sugar snacks? It's not just a sweet tooth. It's a literal impairment of how your brain maps the world. So what's the big takeaway here? It's not about becoming a perfect person who never eats a cookie again. It's about realizing that brain fog and mood swings aren't just personality traits. They are physiological signals. They are your body's way of saying, hey, the engine room is empty and I can't keep the lights on up here. You aren't just tired or just stressed or just having a bad day. Often you're just underfueled. Think about the last time you felt like you couldn't focus. Maybe you were staring at a screen, waiting for the words to make sense. You were probably looking for a solution in the wrong place. You were looking at the screen, but the problem was what you ate 3 hours ago. The so what here is that you have more control over your cognitive performance than you think. You're not a victim of your mood. You're the manager of your chemistry. Every meal is a decision about how sharp, how fast, and how happy you're going to be for the next 4 hours. It's easy to feel like we're just passengers in our own bodies, but we're actually the ones driving. The next time you find yourself standing in front of the fridge, don't just think about what tastes good. Think about what your brain needs to do today. Do you have a big presentation? A difficult conversation? A project that needs deep, intense focus? Feed that task. If you need to be sharp, you need the fuel that supports those neural pathways. If you need to be calm, you need the food that supports your gut serotonin production. It's like being an athlete, but instead of training for a game, you're training for life. And don't forget, the vagus nerve is always listening. Every time you swallow, you're sending a message back to your brain. You're either sending a message of, we're safe, we're fueled, we're ready to go, or you're sending a message of, we're under attack, we're inflamed, we're struggling. Which message are you sending right now? It's a powerful realization, isn't it? You have the ability to change how you feel by changing what's on your plate. It's not about deprivation. It's about performance. It's about giving yourself the best possible chance to succeed at whatever you're doing. If you've been feeling like you're stuck in a mental rut, Don't just try to push through it. Try to feed your way out of it. Start by swapping one processed snack for something that actually has nutrients. Maybe it's a handful of walnuts, which are packed with the healthy fats your brain loves. Maybe it's some berries, which have the antioxidants that help fight that mental rust we talked about. Just one change. See how your focus shifts. See how the afternoon slump starts to disappear. You've spent your life thinking your brain was the captain of the ship, the one making all the big decisions in the wheelhouse. But it turns out the kitchen is the engine room. If the engine room is full of trash, the captain doesn't stand a chance. Next time you reach for a snack, realize you aren't just filling a hole in your stomach. You're deciding how you're going to think, how you're going to feel, and how you're going to show up for the world for the next 4 hours. It's a massive responsibility, but it's also the ultimate superpower. Once you realize that the food on your fork is actually the software you're installing in your head, you'll never look at a menu the same way again. You're literally building your own reality, one bite at a time. So make it count. Don't let your lunch hack your brain. Start hacking your lunch to serve your brain. It's the most important relationship you'll ever have. The relationship between your gut and your head is the foundation of everything you do. Master that, and you master everything else. Keep that in mind next time you're grabbing a quick bite, and you'll start to see your own potential in a completely different light. It's not just lunch. It's your brain's future. And you're the one holding the fork. You have the power to change your life starting with your very next meal. So make sure you choose the fuel that helps you reach your goals. Your brain is waiting for you to give it the high-quality, nutrient-dense fuel it needs to perform at its best. Stop settling for the afternoon crash and start fueling for the life you want to live. You deserve to feel sharp, focused, and energized every single day. And the key is waiting for you in your kitchen. This journey to a better brain starts right now, with the next bite you take. It is time to take control of your chemistry and see what you are truly capable of achieving when your brain is finally powered correctly. You are the architect of your own mental clarity, so go ahead and build a better version of yourself today. The path is clear and the tools are all within your reach. Just remember that every choice you make is a signal to your body, and you are the one who decides what that signal says. Choose wisely, stay consistent, and watch how quickly your entire world begins to shift for the better. Your future self will thank you for the effort you put into your nutrition today. Stay focused, keep learning, and never forget that you are in the driver's seat of your own health and performance. The best is yet to come, and it all starts with the fuel you choose to put into your body. Go make it happen.